Good morning. We're on the record. Good morning again. As chairperson of the Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis Board for the District of Columbia, and in accordance with DC Code Section 2-571HC of the Open Meetings Act, OMA, I'm welcoming you to the regular scheduled meeting of the Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis Board. This meeting is being conducted pursuant to guidance made available by the District of Columbia's Office of Open Government regarding electronic meetings held by public bodies. Electronic meetings by the ABC Board are authorized pursuant to Section 2577A of the DC Code. Pursuant to the OMA requirements, notice of today's meeting was provided 48 hours in advance of the meeting on ABCA's website and on the District Central meeting calendar. The notice included the time, date, agenda, and call-in or login information for public participation. This electronic meeting has been hosted by a WebEx account provided by the District of Columbia government. Please address any questions or complaints to the OOG at opengovoffice@dc.gov. My name is Donovan Anderson. I'm chairperson of the board. I would like to introduce the other members of the ABC board who are also participating electronically. Please respond when I announce your names. Mr. Silas Grant.
Mr. Silas Grant, present.
Ms. Terry Janine Quinn.
Ms. Terry Janine Quinn, present.
Mr. David Meadows.
Mr. David Meadows, present.
Mr. Ryan Jones.
Mr. Ryan Jones, present.
The board has 5 members in attendance for the conduct of business today, and that constitutes a quorum. Before we get underway with today's hearing calendar, I need to make a few instructions very clear so that the conduct of these hearings is understood by everyone. There are 8 cases scheduled for this morning's calendar. Once your case is called, I will take a moment for IT specialists to elevate the rights for each party to enable their camera and microphone. Then and only then will you have the ability to enable your equipment. If your case has not been heard, you will remain mute and your camera will be disabled. At the conclusion of each case, the parties will have the option to leave. If the party chooses to stay, all cameras and microphones for the concluded case will be disabled. Should you have any questions or require technical assistance during the hearing, please submit them using the question and answer feature. Our first case on our calendar this morning is a protest hearing status for case number 24 PRO 00124, the Family Tree LLC, license number 127855. Good morning, Mr. Oriana. Can you please elevate the rights of the parties in this case?
Good morning, Chairman. I do not see any of the parties in attendance.
Okay.
I'll ask again in the chat.
Let me see. Because for the Family Tree, it's it should be Roger Davis and ANC Mark Galvan from ANC 5F.
I just elevated a call-in user.
And who can the call-in user, can you please identify yourself for the record? Are you here for Family Tree? Is that person unmuted?
Yes, I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes, and who are you, sir?
This is Roger Davis.
Okay, Mr. Davis. Okay. All right, good morning. Mr. Davis, can you please identify yourself for the record, please, by spelling and stating your name?
You want me to spell my name?
Yes, sir. Spell and state your name for the record, sir.
ROGERDAVIS, Roger Davis.
And what is your relationship to the Family Tree, sir?
I own the license.
Okay, sir. All right. All right. This matter is scheduled for a protest. This matter is a protest status hearing. It's the matter was scheduled. at 10:30. Mr. Davis is here, and Mr. Davis is the applicant. This matter was being protested by ANC 5F, and ANC 5F is not here. Let's give another opportunity. Mr. Oriana, can you please one more time put on, see if we can, is there anyone here from ANC 5F? I see some other call-in user. Is there anyone here from ANC 5F? There's another call-in user. Who's that? Or is it the same person? There's another call-in user. Who's that?
Hey, good morning. Yes, my name is Lonnie Bramson. I'm the owner of Street Lawyer Services. I tried to get on the webinar, but
Hold on, sir. We're not calling your cases yet. So, Mr. Oriana, so you are the call-in user 70. So can you drop 70 from the call? All right, thank you. All right. So is there anyone here from is there anyone here from ANC 5F? If there's no one here from ANC 5F, so what I am going to do is that ANC 5F had protests the issuance of this license. All parties are informed that it is mandatory that they have to attend the protest status hearing, and also that they have to attend the protest hearing. ANC 5F has protested this matter, and they are not here today, and they have not provided the board with cause why they failed to appear today. Because it is mandatory for both the protestant and the applicant to show up at the status hearing, I'm making a motion that the protest be dismissed. What this means is that I'm asking the board to vote to protest. To dismiss the protest. What this means is that the ANC will be given, once if the board approves the motion, the ANC. Well, let me make the motion first. So I therefore make a motion that ANC 5F's protest be dismissed. Is there a second for failure to appear at the mandatory protest hearing status? Is there a second?
Mr. Grant, I second the motion.
Mr. Grant has seconded the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Mr. Davis, what this means, Mr. Davis, is that the board will issue an order dismissing ANC 5F's protests. ANC 5F will have 10 days to provide the board reasonable cause why they failed to appear today. If they fail to respond within the 10 days, or if the board determines that their failure to appear was not good cause, the board will instruct the agency to move forward to approve your license without any conditions, sir. Okay? So that's the decision today. We will issue an order dismissing ANC 5F. ANC 5F will be given 10 days to respond. If they fail to respond, or if we determine that they did not have good cause to appear today, as I stated before, the board will instruct the agency to move forward to approve your license without any conditions. Okay? All right, sir.
Okay.
You have a great day. Thank you
Yes,
for
sir.
appearing today. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right. The next case in our calendar is we now move to a show cause hearing status, case number 24 CMP 00059, Italian Pizza Kitchen, license number 79296. Mr. Oriana, can you please elevate the rights of the applicant, the licensee, and the government?
Christopher Southcott, your access has been elevated, and that appears to be all term.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Southcott. Can you please identify yourself for the record?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. My name is Chris Southcott, first name Chris, last name Soutthcott, from DC's Office of the Attorney General, representing the district.
Good morning, sir. I see that the licensee is not here today. However, at show cause hearing status, there is no requirement for the licensee to appear. With that said, this matter then is scheduled for a show cause hearing on March 12th at 10:30 a.m. I just want to advise the parties that 7 days prior to the hearing, the parties are required to disclose the documents and witnesses that they will rely on at the hearing. Failure by either party to disclose documents and witnesses 7 days before the hearing, the board is empowered to prevent the party from relying on documents and or witnesses that have not been disclosed. Any questions, sir?
Nothing from the government.
All right, thank you. All right. The next case on our calendar is case number 24 CMP 00021, 12 after 12. Mr. Oriana, can you please elevate the rights of the applicant, the licensee in this case?
Cameron Mixon, your access has been elevated. That is all, Chair.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Southcott. Good morning. Can you please identify yourself for the record?
Good morning. My name is Chris Southcott, first name Chris, last name Southcott, from DC's Office of the Attorney General, representing the district.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Mr. Mixon, can you please identify yourself for the record?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Cameron Mixon with the Veritas Law Firm, counsel for the licensee, CAMERONMIXON.
Good morning. Mr. Southcott, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
Nothing from the government.
Fine. All right, then this matter is scheduled for a show cause hearing on March 5th at 1:30 p.m. I would also like to advise the parties that they are required 7 days prior to the hearing to disclose documents and witnesses that they will rely on at the hearing. Failure by either side to disclose documents and witnesses that would be relied upon at the hearing unless the board finds reasonable cause. The board is empowered to prevent that side from relying on documents and witnesses that have not been disclosed 7 days prior. Any questions?
Nothing from the government.
Mr. Mixon? All right. Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. The next case on our calendar is case number 24 CMP 00069, Brasieri Liberté, license number 109998. This case has been canceled and offering compromise has been provided to the board for its review and consideration. The next case on our calendar is case number 24 CMP 00068, 1831 Bar Lounge. Mr. Oriana, can you please elevate the licensee in this case?
No licensee, Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Southcott, can you please identify yourself for the record?
Good morning. My name is Chris Southcott, first name Chris, last name Soutthcott, from DC's Office of the Attorney General, representing the district.
Good morning, sir. I see that the licensee is not here, but for show cause hearing status, there is no requirement for the licensee to appear. With that said, this case is scheduled for a show cause hearing on March. I'm sorry?
Apologies. I raised somebody who raised their hand, Solomon. I'm not sure if they're involved.
Mr. Can you identify yourself for the record, please? The person with their hand raised. Can you identify yourself for the record?
Okay. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Who
Hello?
are you?
Hello?
Yes, sir. What establishment are you here?
Hello.
What establishment are you here representing?
I'm representing the license holder.
So what establishment?
LAMA Lama DC LLC.
Sorry?
It's
Oh,
the-
okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Can you, all right. Do you have two lines open up, sir? I can't hear you.
Yeah. I'm trying to, I have in front of me a laptop, and if I
Well,
could
I
use,
need you to,
if
I
you,
need you
if,
to sign
if
off
you
on
can
one of the
unmute me.
equipment, sir.
Huh?
No, I need you to sign off on one of the equipment you're on, sir.
Okay. You can cut off.
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me now?
All right. Can you
hear me now?
can you spell and state your name for the record, sir?
Okay, my name is Workneh Chernat. Workh, first name, last name Chernat, Chernut.
And who are you, sir?
Okay, I'm an attorney, and I'm appearing on behalf of the 1831 M Street Northwest Lounge and Restaurant. The owner of the license is Lama DC LLC.
All right. I guess you don't have a camera, sir, to turn on.
Yeah.
I elevated his other joining
Okay.
account.
I think both of them are logged in, so that's the problem. Hello?
Unmute you, sir.
Can you unmute
Okay.
Workneh Chernat?
Yeah, I think.
All right, sir. All right, hold on. Are you in the same location as the other person, sir, you're talking to?
Yes.
All right. Why don't you tell the other person to log off, and you are the one should stay on. The other person doesn't need to log in if they're in the same location as you are, sir.
I took care of it, Chair.
Okay. All right. So, sir, can you speak now? Can you speak now, sir? Hello?
Hello?
Yes. All right, sir. Let's start over again. Can you please spell and state your name
Hello?
for the record? Yes. Can you please spell and state your name for the record, and who do you represent?
Hello?
I can hear you, sir. Speak. Can you speak, sir? I can hear you. Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you once again please spell and state your name for the record, and who do you represent?
Thank you. Workneh, first name, Workneh, and last name Chernut, Chernut.
Mr. Chernut, who do you represent, sir?
I represent the restaurant on 1831 M Street Lounge, and the owner of the license is Lama DC LLC.
All right, thank you. Mr. Southcott, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
Nothing from the government.
Whose case is this, sir? Is this your case? Whose case?
This is not my case. This case belongs to Colin Shenchi and Sophia Medius.
All right. So, Mr. Does the attorney, do you have the contact information for the attorney the assistant attorney general whose case is assigned to, sir?
Nope. Can I have that?
Mr. Southcott, can you please put the information in the chat, so the attorney can have the information to speak?
Yes, give me 1 second.
Okay.
And Mr. I'm sorry, what's the attorney representing?
Chernut.
Mr. Chern, can you also put your information in the chat so the attorneys can exchange contact information, so at least everyone will be on the same page.
I provided contact information for the two attorneys.
WCH.
And Mr. Turner, can you provide our agency with an appearance? Can you file a notice of appearance with ABCA, sir?
Yeah, I'll do that as soon as possible.
All right, so please contact ABCA Legal and
Okay.
provide us an appearance since you're an attorney and you're representing, so we will officially know that you represent this establishment, sir.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Saska, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
There is nothing from the government. I am still just waiting on that email address to be entered into the chat.
And Mr. Turner, can you please put your email address in the chat, sir? So
Yes,
at
yes, I'm
the
doing that.
government.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Are there any preliminary matters that at this stage, sir, that you would like to bring to the attention of the board?
Only that we're going to contest.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Then this matter is scheduled for a show cause hearing on March 5th at 10:30 a.m.
Thank you.
So just want to remind both parties that 7 days prior to the hearing, the parties are required to disclose documents and witnesses that will be relied upon at the hearing. So the parties are supposed to exchange documents with each other and also send a copy of the documents to ABCA Legal. Failure by either party to disclose documents and witnesses 7 days before the hearing, unless good cause is shown, the board is empowered to prevent that side from relying on documents and witnesses that have not been disclosed 7 days prior to the hearing. Mr. Southcroft, any questions, sir?
I do have one clarification, which is just that my understanding is that the attorneys who were responsible for this case had been in contact with someone from the establishment, and that person had, at least in theory, agreed to an OIC. I don't know. I believe that this is the first that I'm hearing of there being sort of representing counsel who's been involved in this, and just want to just make sure that everybody's on the same page on this, because I think we're a little confused on our side.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I asked Mr. Charnock to do an appearance with our agency, so the agency will recognize him as counsel. And so once he has placed that in the record, then I would ask that the attorneys then can communicate. So you could, Mr. Southgate, then once Mr. Chernoff has provided his appearance, you can, Mr. Chenchi and I think Ms. Marcus, I believe, they can start communicating with him on behalf of the government.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any questions by either side? Mr. Chernoff, you have any questions at this juncture, sir?
Yeah, I need contact information of the attorney or the officer that I would be in touch with.
The information was placed in the chat, sir. There are two attorneys that it's not. Mr. Southcott is not the attorney. He's sitting in because he's the attorney who's appearing today. So the two attorneys who will be handling this matter, Mr. Colin Chenchi and Miss Sophia.
Okay.
Their information, Marcus, their information has been placed in the chat. So I would ask that you reach out to, once you have done the appearance, sir, you reach out to those attorneys to see if this is a matter that can be settled.
Thank you. Understood. We'll do that.
All right. And Mr. Southcott, I will ask that, as a matter of courtesy, provide the attorney's information to your colleague, please do so. Okay.
I've already done it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. All right, then. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, then. Bye-bye. All right. The next case in the calendar is case number 24CC00022, DMV Convenience Mart, license number 127876. Mr. Oriana, can you please elevate the rights of the licensee in this case?
No licensee, Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Southcott, can you please identify yourself for the record?
Good morning. My name is Chris Southcott. First name Chris, last name Southcott from DC's Office of the Attorney General, representing the district.
Good morning, sir. The licensee is not here, but for show cause hearing status, there is no requirement that the licensee appear. This matter then is scheduled for show cause hearing on March 12th at 10:30 a.m. I just again want to remind the parties that 7 days prior to the hearing, they are required to disclose documents and witnesses that will be relied upon at the hearing. Failure by either side to disclose documents and witnesses that will be relied upon at the hearing, the board is empowered to prevent that side from relying on documents that have not been disclosed 7 days previously. Okay? Thank you, sir, for your appearance today. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. The next case on our calendar is case number 24 CMP 000009 Chucks, license number 123728. This case has been canceled due to the submission of an offer in compromise for the board's review and approval. The next case in our calendar is a cease and desist hearing for case number 24 ULC 00038, Street Lawyer Services. This is 409 H Street Northeast, unlicensed cannabis retailer. Mr. Oriana, can you please elevate the rights of the government and the licensee and the unlicensed establishment representative and any witnesses for this case, please?
Sure. Supervisor Investigator Jason Peru, your access has been elevated. And Lonnie Bramson, your access has been elevated. That is all, Chairman.
Good morning.
Good morning. Who are you, Lonnie Bransom? Who do you represent, sir?
Yes, hi, good morning. I'm actually represent Ted.
I think Mr. Zoe. So who's the government? Mr. We need to. Where's the government in this case? Who's the government's attorney?
Good morning.
Hold on, Mr. Zoe. Okay, hold on. All right, okay. Good morning. This is a cease and desist matter, so let me have the parties identify themselves for the record. Mr. Peru, can you please spell and state your name for the record?
Yes, Supervisor Investigator Jason Peru, JASONPERU.
Mr. Zoe, can you please spell and state your name for the record, sir?
Yes, YUTONG ZHOU.
And who are you, sir?
I'm a counsel for respondent.
And who is your client?
Street Lawyer Services.
And is there a representative here for that establishment?
Here for the establishment, but also Mr. Bremsen as well.
All right, so let me, hold on. Who do you represent, sir, Mr. Zoe?
Street Lawyer Services LLC and also Lonnie Bremsen.
So what is the difference between the two? I'm just trying to find out. Just let me know.
Yes, I think both parties are named in the cease and desist order, but Mr. Lonnie Bremsen is the owner of Street Lawyer Services.
All right. Mr. Branson, can you please spell and state your name for the record?
Yes, good morning. Lonnie Bramson, Lonny, last name Bramzon. Excuse the dog in the background.
Okay, that's fine, sir. I've been doing this long enough that when I know we do these virtual hearings, there are a lot of things that happens. Anyway, all right, Mr. Zoe, are there any preliminary matters you want to bring to the attention of the board before we start?
Mr. Chairman, I want to request a continuance for the matter because I was just retained this morning to represent Street Lawyer Services and Mr. Bremsen, so I'm not prepared and briefed on any of the facts of the case.
But Mr. Zoe, this matter was scheduled for a hearing on December 11th, 2024. Your client asked us to your client asked us to continue this matter, and this matter was continued to today, January 29th, 2025. This matter has been continued over 6 weeks, sir. Your client, the board is not inclined to continue this matter any further because it was, as I stated before, it was continued. It was scheduled for January 11th, and it was continued today. Mr. Branson, you can't speak, sir. You can only speak through your lawyer. I'm just saying is that there is an attorney that you have here who's representing you, so I only speak to the lawyers at this juncture, so unless your attorney instructs you to speak. Okay, it's just for your own protection and guidance, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I understand that, and but the matter is, maybe we ask for a short continuance, perhaps only for 2 weeks. I think at least that would be the practice for the DC Superior Court.
I'm sorry, if I may ask my counsel permission for me to speak.
Yes.
Yeah, so sorry about this. So correct, we had one hearing date and we got that continued. That was based on my prior attorney's conflict, right? So here we go. We're ready for this hearing, but then last Friday, I got a call from Miss Boone, and there was an issue with my placard, and it didn't make sense. And then I'm looking at my whole situation and kind of not really sure how it's going to pan out. Now, Justin Teep is an excellent attorney focused on Maryland. Now, I know Attorney Zhu just got in touch with me. Somebody put me in touch with him yesterday, and he just knew so much more about the ins and outs of DC. And because of that call Friday where they said they were going to remove my placard, which was very alarming, it kind of shook up everything for me, and I hired him at the last minute. We've only gotten one continuance, and so he just came on. I mean, he'll be really flying pretty blind. So we requested one continuance prior. This is only the second one. I know I don't want to inconvenience anybody, but the guy doesn't know about my case. There's a lot at stake here. And with the news I got just on Friday, it kind of shook up my whole thing. I'm kind of not sure where I stand. And I realized I needed, when I talked to a DC attorney who specializes in these hearings, it changed everything. So I just hired him. And
Okay,
here we are.
I'm sorry, sir. What news did you receive on Friday?
Okay, so Miss Boone called me from ABCA.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Imani, I'm sorry. So with the most surprising news, we had a placard It's been up. I mean, we were about to get the final. I get a call. Placard needs to be removed. What? There's another shop. We're going through all this. This is the shock of everything. I don't even know where I'm going right now because of that call Friday. And I'm really trying to fix that. But then I realized, whoa, you know what? I need a DC person because this thing's getting a little bit. And that was just last Friday. So here we are. And I found Mr. Zoo, and I really wanted his services. You know, and I know we had one prior continuance, but that was because of an attorney conflict. And here we are. Thank you.
And Mr. Zhu, and you're asking for continuance for how long?
Oh, I think 2 weeks should be plenty.
All right, I'm gonna I need to go in executive session. Any other representation that you want to make, Mr. Zhu or Mr. Branson, before the board's going to go in executive session?
Again, we're just asking for continuance, just so he's prepared to argue it.
Also, just one more thing, Mr. Chairman. As you know, I've worked with Mr. Berman on a matter of consent orders, and I intend to pursue one in this matter as well. And I think maybe Mr. Berman and I can work something out within 2 weeks.
As chairperson of the Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis Board for the District of Columbia, and in accordance with DC Code Section 2575 of the Open Meetings Act, I move that ABC Board hold a closed meeting for the purpose of seeking legal advice from our counsel on case number 24 ULC 00038, Street Lawyers Service, an unlicensed cannabis retailer. Pursuant to DC Official Code 2-575B4A of the Open Meetings Act. Hold on, please. Is there a second?
Ryan Jones, I second that motion.
Mr. Jones, I second the motion. I'll take a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Quinn, I agree.
Ms. Quinn. Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The board will go into executive session. We'll be right back. I'll ask all board members to log off and then log back into executive session. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Thanks.
We're back in the record. All right. The board went into executive session to discuss with our lawyers the legal issues that was raised. Mr. Zoe, on behalf of Street Lawyers, had requested a short continuance because the statement is that he was recently hired, and although this matter was a continuance was issued, this matter was previously scheduled for December the 11th, 2024. The previous attorney had requested a continuance, and this continuance was granted for us to have the hearing today. Mr. Zoe is now stating that he's now the attorney representing the establishment, and he was recently hired, so he's asking for a 2-week continuance to maybe negotiate with our legal office some type of offer in compromise. And I guess just to Mr. Zoe, if the board was to grant a short continuance, is it that is your client gonna comply with the cease and desist in the sense that I guess part of my confusion, I know that Mr. There's some allegation that there was a placard up and the placard was removed, but this is not for this location. Is that correct? This is
Correct. That's not for this location.
This is a different location.
Right. Correct. That's for a different location.
All right. And so I'm not quite. I don't. Hold on, Mr. Mr. I know you have a comment you want to make, Mr. Peru, but I'm not going to have us address that right now. I don't see the relationship between the two because they're not related.
Mr. Chairman, at
Yes.
the end of the day, I think what I'm asking is I'm try to reach a deal with Mr. Berman that's similar to say like my other clients, for example, gift securitors, and in the sense that yes, I understand Street Lawyer Services' current location does not fit the requirement for ordinary retail medical cannabis retailer. However, we can still try to convert their conditional license into internet retail and then apply for the internet retail in this location. And that will be part of the deal negotiation with Mr. Berman. And essentially, we will want the same thing that we don't want the cease and desist order to be held against Mr. Bremsen and Street Lawyer Services for to preclude them from attempting to apply for a medical cannabis license in the future.
And so the assurance that you'll provide to us if the board was to grant this a short continuance is that you'll try to negotiate an offer in compromise with our legal office for the board's approval, that your client will not be operating and they'll comply with the cease and desist and not be operating either by selling in person or selling online at this establishment. Is that part of what the assurance you can provide the board today?
I can provide first half of the assurance. The second half that I think maybe they can still operate for 2 weeks, but after that, definitely assure that they'll stop after 2 weeks.
The cease and desist is this a cease and desist was issued.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, may I have a sidebar with my client real quick and then log back into the hearing?
Of course you can do that, sir.
I'll call you, Lonnie. Hi, Mr. Chairman.
All right, yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I guess just, yes, we're willing to make that assurance. However, can we just make one caveat to that? Can, my client, assure that they will exit by this Friday. They just need one more day tomorrow to clear out the premises.
Mr. Zoe, there was a cease and desist that was issued. A hearing was scheduled for December 11th, 2024, and your client has been on notice that he is not allowed to sell and serve any products. I'm not going to agree. Yeah, I'm gonna Mr. Peru. Where's Mr. Peru? I'm not gonna. I'm inclined to grant a short continuance. So, Mr. Peru, I don't think we're gonna need you to testify today, sir. Okay. Um, I'm gonna ask the board to grant a continuance. Mr. Zoe, there's a cease and desist for this establishment. It's been issued for a significant period of time. And you also need, if the board grants this continuance, you need to let your client know that he has, it's my understanding that he has a license application. He has a license application for a different establishment. And the board can have a fitness. And so the board in that license application, we can look at whatever is being done here to see if he has the fitness and the character for us to grant him a license.
I understand that. That's actually
If he wants to continue operating, he does it at his detriment, because there is a standing cease and desist order for him not to operate. And if he continues to operate, and if enforcement goes out and sees that he's operating, then at some point we can have a character and fitness hearing. And that is all part of what can be considered, whether or not the board will consider him a person who's fit to hold a license. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. All right, so I'll make a motion that we grant a 2-week continuance with the understanding that council will contact our agency to see if they can negotiate an OIC, and then we'll get back to them to try to schedule a hearing within the next 2 weeks. Is there a second?
Ryan Jones, I second the motion.
Mr. Jones, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
And I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree to 2 weeks.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. So the board will issue a 2-week, a short continuance for approximately 2 weeks for the attorney to see if an offer in compromise can be settled. Can be negotiated. And I just want to put your client on notice that his continued action to sell cannabis without a license, either in person or online, that can impact his ability to get a license from this agency to operate legally. So if he decides that he is going to continue to violate the law, he needs to be on notice that this is a factor that the board can consider in not granting him a license to operate legally. Okay? All right.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. All right. All right. The board is at the end of its morning calendar, and so let me now do our agenda items for the day. All right, so the first agenda item that we're going to do today, this is our legal agenda. The first matter on our legal agenda, it's the review of an offer in compromise. This is for High Spirits license, and this is for case number 24 CMP 00045, license number 127084. So the offer in compromise for High Spirits is as follows. Charge 1 fails to follow settlement agreement for secondary tier violation. Statutory authority, DC Code Section 25A23A6. There's a fine of $250 paid within 30 days, or the license shall be suspended indefinitely until the fine is paid. Charge 2, fail to produce settlement agreement for secondary tier violation. Statutory authority, DC Code Section 25711A3A, and a warning will be issued for this violation. I make a motion that the offer in compromise be accepted. Is there a second?
Mr. Jones, I second the motion.
Mr. Jones, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 2, review of settlement agreement. This is for Ongagi, ONGGI. The license number is 130563. I make a motion that the settlement agreement be approved. Is there a second?
Mr. Meadows, I second.
Mr. Meadows, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 3, review of offer in compromise in lieu of a hearing. This is for Flavio. This is case number 24 CMP 00058, and the license number is 00804. The offer in compromise is as follows. Charge 1, failed to file the required quarterly statement. Fine $2,000 payable within 30 days, or the license shall be suspended indefinitely until the fine has been paid, and they're supposed to submit pending quarterly statements if they have not been submitted. I make a motion that the offer in compromise be accepted. Is there a second?
Mr. Grant, I second the motion.
Mr. Grant, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 4, review of protest letter by ANC 5C. This is Community Space DC. This is a caterer's license. I make a motion that we approve this matter. Is there a second?
Mr. Meadows, I'll
I
second.
second.
Ms. Quinn and Mr. Quinn and Mr. Meadows are second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 5, review of protest letter filed by Group of 5 or more. This is for Community Space DC, caterer's license. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Ryan Jones, I second the motion.
Mr. Jones, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 6, review of supplemental protest letter filed by ANC 5C, Community Space, caterer's license. This is now moot. Number 7, review of supplementary protest letter filed by Group of 5 or more, Community Space, caterer's license, and this is also moot. Okay. So now let's do our legal alcohol addendum. The first matter on the legal alcohol addendum, it's a review of an offer in compromise for Chucks. This is for case number 24 CMP 00009, and the license number is 123728. And the offer in compromise is as follows. Charge 1, provided entertainment without the endorsement. Statutory authority, DC Code Section 25113.01B1. A warning will be issued. I therefore make a motion that the offer in compromise be accepted. Is there a second?
Quinn, I second.
Ms. Quinn, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 2, review of an offer in compromise. This is for case number 24-251-00027, barcode, license number 115593. The offer in compromise is as follows. Charge 1, failed to follow security plan statutory authority, DC Code Section 25823A6. There's a fine of $2,000 payable within 30 days, or the license shall be suspended indefinitely until the fine has been paid. Charge 2, failed to follow security plan and settlement agreement, statutory authority, DC Code Section 25823A6, dismissed. Charge 3, allow the establishment to be used for an unlawful purpose, statutory authority, DC Code Section 25823A2, dismissed. I therefore make a motion that the offer in compromise be accepted. Is there a second?
Mr. Meadows, I second.
Mr. Meadows, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
And Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. We now go to our legal agenda, second addendum. The first matter on the legal agenda, second addendum, this is for case number 24 CMP 00069. This is Bassieri Liberty, license number 109998. And the offer in compromise is as follows. Number 1, I'm sorry. Number 1, charge 1, no ABC manager, statutory authority, DC Code Section 25701. There's a fine of $250 paid within 30 days, or the license shall be suspended indefinitely until the fine has been paid. Charge 2, failure to have available the settlement agreement, statutory authority, DC Code Section 25711A3A. There's a fine of $250 payable within 30 days, or the license shall be suspended indefinitely until the fine has been paid. Charge 3, fail to follow settlement agreement, statutory authority, DC Code Section 25823A6. There's a fine of $250 payable within 30 days, or the license shall be suspended indefinitely until the fine has been paid. I therefore make a motion that the offer in compromise be accepted. Is there a second?
Mr. Grant, I
Jones, I
second the
second the
motion.
motion.
Mr. Grant and Mr. Jones have seconded the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 6-0. minute, please. So let's now move to our legal agenda, medical cannabis. The first matter on our legal agenda, medical cannabis, is review of consent order landlord. This is for LeDroit Smoke Shop LLC. This is for case number 24 ULC 00050. I make a motion that we approve the consent order. Is there a second?
Mr. Grant, I second the motion.
Mr. Grant, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson agrees. The matter passed 5-0. Number 2, review of motion for consideration. This is for, this is in case number, this is for KAE. This is case number 24 PRO 000121. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Ms. Quinn, I second.
Ms. Quinn, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 3, review of an offer in compromise landlord. This is for All American American Buzz. This is for case number 24 ULC 00027, and this is an unlicensed establishment. And the OIC is as follows. Number 1, landlord affirms that the unlicensed establishment has permanently vacated the premises. Number 2, landlord affirms that it has received affirmative confirmation from the unlicensed establishment that it has voluntarily and permanently vacated the premises as evidenced by Exhibit A attached. Number 3, landlord acknowledges that it is responsible for returning any property owned by the unlicensed establishment that remains in the premises and over which the unlicensed establishment has a legal right to return. Number 4, landlord agrees to not lease the premises to any unlicensed cannabis distributors at any time in the future. Number 5, landlord agrees to notify ABCA when it has leased the premises to a new tenant to provide the identity of the new tenant, including the business name and owner, and permit ABCA to perform an inspection before the new tenant takes possession of the premises and at any time thereafter. Number 6, the cease and desist order remains in effect and continues to apply to landlord. Number 7, ABCA shall make the keys to the premises available to landlord for pickup at its offices or at another mutually agreed upon date, time, and location. I therefore make a motion that the offer in compromise be accepted. Is there a second?
Mr. Meadows, I second your motion.
Mr. Meadows, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 4, review of summary action revocation. This is for Kaliva, K-A-L-I-V-A. This is case number 24-251-00041. The license number is 126777. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second? Is there a second?
Jones, I second the motion.
Mr. Jones, I second the motion. We have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 5, review of motion for reinstatement. This is for Verg Enterprises LLC. Case number 24 PRO 000122. This is a medical cannabis retail license. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Ms.
Mr.
Quinn,
Grant, I second.
Mr. Grant and Ms. Quinn, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant,
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn,
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows,
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 6, review of ANC response. This is Verg Enterprises LLC. This is case number 24 PRO 0000122, medical cannabis retail license. This is now moot. Number 7, this is for case number 24 ULC 00056. This is District Care Dispensary. Medical cannabis license. I make a motion that we schedule this matter for a hearing. Is there a second?
Ms. Quinn, I second.
Ms. Quinn, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant,
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn,
Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows,
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, I agree.
and Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0.
Medical.
We now move to our licensing agenda. The first matter on our licensing agenda, review request for a temporary operating retail permit, TORP. This is for Cafeteria and Taqueria La Loca, license number 131150. Make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Mr. Meadows, I second your motion.
Mr. Meadows, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant,
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn,
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows,
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, I agree.
and Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 2, review application for stipulated license with letter of ANC support for a new ABC license. This is for Half Glass, license number 130952. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Mr. Jones, I second the motion.
Mr. Jones, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant,
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn,
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows,
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 3, review application for entertainment endorsement to provide live entertainment inside of the premises only. This is for Zoof, Z-O-O-Z, license number 124023. I make a motion that we placard this matter. Is there a second?
Mr. Grant, I second the motion.
Mr. Grant, I second the motion. We have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant,
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn,
Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows,
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, I agree.
and Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 4, review application for the carryout and delivery endorsement. This is for Mary Pin, license number 127357. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Ms. Quinn, I second.
Ms. Quinn, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant,
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn,
Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows,
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 5, review of the review application for the carry out and delivery endorsement. This is for Bucks Fishing and Camping, license number 060769. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Mr. Meadows, I second the motion.
Mr. Meadows, I second the motion. We have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant,
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn,
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows,
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 6, review request to renew the storage facility permit. This is for UVO wine. This is the license number is 24 SC 00538. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Mr. Jones, I second the motion.
Mr. Jones has seconded the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant,
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn,
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows,
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 7, review request to update the license approval to endorse a summer garden rather than a sidewalk cafe. This is for Buffalo and Bergen, license number 124816. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Mr. Grant, I second the motion.
Mr. Grant has seconded the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant,
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn,
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows,
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, I agree.
and Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. We now will do the board's temporary 1 days and substantial change docket. There are 8 applicants on this docket. I will review the name, the category, the date, the license number, the attendees. I will also make a recommendation for approval. And at the end of the list, I'll ask the ABC board members to vote to approve the recommendations as presented by the chair. So number 1, a request from Therese Kilbane Myers. This is for 1-day license class G for a wedding. This is April 5th. The license number is 131139, 200 attendees for security guards approval. Number 2, a request from Isa Rizhala, Rizkallah, a 1-day license class G. This is a reception with DJ. This is February 8th. The license number is 131152, 130 attendees, 3 security guards approval. A request from number 3 is a request from Patrick D. Batista, 1-day license class G. Dance class, February 8th. License number 131176, 200 attendees, 4 security guards approval. Number 4, request from Patrick D. Batista, 1-day license class G, dance class, February 22nd. License number is 131181, 200 attendees, 4 security guards approval. Number 5, request from Wheelhouse LLC, Chloe, 1-day substantial change. It's a reception to use entertainment DJ endorsement from 12 p.m. to 5. This is from 12 p.m. to 5 a.m. And this is on February the 2nd. The license number is 106997. Substantial change license is 25 SC 00536. Approval. Number 6, a request from Heist Group LLC for Pub Crawl St. Patrick's Day Fest. This is event St. Patrick's Day Bar Fest, March 15th. The license number is 105182. The substantial change license 25 PCE 00003. They have asked for 2,000 participants approval. Number 7 is a retroactive event. This is a request from Diamond Watson, a 1-day license class G, a reception. The event was January 26th. The license number is 131096, 200 attendees, 4 security guards approval. Number 8 is also a retroactive event. It's from Dog Days DC, 1-day substantial change. Reception, this was January 25th. The license number is 123636, a substantial change, license 25 SC 00534. I make a motion, therefore, that the ABC board approve the recommendations made by the chair for the board's temporary license and 1-day substantial change docket. Is there a second?
Ms. Quinn, I second.
Ms. Quinn, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. We now move to the board's alcohol license administrative docket. On this docket, there are 19 applicants, and without objection, I make a motion that ABC Board approve all 19 applicants on the alcohol license administrative docket for January 29th, 2025. Is there a second?
Meadows, I second.
Mr. Meadows, has seconded the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. We now move to our medical cannabis licensing agenda. On this agenda, there are 8 applications. I am going to review the applications and I will make a recommendation. And at the end of the list, I'll ask the ABC Board to approve the recommendations made by the chair. So number 1, this is a conditional application. This is review of standard applications for conditional retail license. This is for Extreme LLC, trade name Lucid, license number 131112, recommendation approval. Number 2, review of standard application for conditional license. This is for Dream, license number 131113, recommendation approval. Number 3, review of social equity application for conditional retail license. This is for Butterflies, license number 128284, recommendation denial based on their failure to submit required documentation within the permitted time frame. Number 4, review of standard application for conditional retail license. This is for High Hayes LLC, license number 130741, recommendation approval. Number 5, review of standard application for conditional retail license. This is for Green Cloud Shop, license number 130775, recommendation approval. Number 6, review of social equity application for conditional retail license. This is for Up to Par Holistics LLC, license number 128885, recommendation approval. This is now the request. Appeal for Social Equity Cultivation Center, top tier Treehouse Greenery, trade name Treehouse Cultivation, license number 127766, denial based on their failure to submit required documentation within permitted time frame. And number 8, correct license number for approved conditional social equity retail license. This is for Heavy Club DC Weed Delivery and Marijuana Dispensary. The license number is 128638. This is an FYI for the board. I therefore make a motion that the ABC Board approve the recommendations made by the chair for the medical cannabis licensing agenda. Is there a second?
Mr. Jones, I second the motion.
Mr. Jones, I'm sorry, hold on. Okay, I need to go back to, I apologize. So I apologize. On the medical cannabis licensing agenda, for number 8, number 8 was the correct license number for approved conditional social equity retail license. This is for Heavy Club DC Weed Delivery and Marijuana Dispensary, license number 128638. The decision recommendation is to refer this number 8 back to licensing. So the motion is that I make a motion that the ABC Board approves the recommendations made by the chair for the medical cannabis licensing agenda. Is there a second?
Mr. Grant, I second the motion.
Mr. Grant and Ms. Quinn, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, I agree.
and Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. And our last agenda item for the morning, it's the medical cannabis supplemental licensing agenda. There are 4 requests on this, applicants on this agenda. I will review all 4, make some recommendations, and I'll ask that the board approve the recommendations made by the chair. Number 1 is a review request from John McGowan Esquire to correct applicant's legal address from 1470 Church Street Northwest to 1515 15th Street Northwest Units C1 and C2. And this is from Mr. Nice Guys, license number 126755, recommendation approval. Number 2, review request to withdraw social equity application for retail license with delivery endorsement. This is for Proper Exotic, license number 128697, recommendation approval. Number 3, review of packaging and advertising designs. This is for Lined, license number 127009, approval. And number 4, review of packaging and advertising designs for DC Finance LLC, license number 125104, approval. I therefore make a motion that ABC Board approve the recommendations made by the chair for the medical cannabis supplemental licensing agenda. Is there a second?
Mr. Meadows, I second the motion.
Mr. Meadows, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passes 5-0. We're at the end of our agenda items for the morning, and the board will be in recess until 1:30. I now ask all board members to return to executive session for further action. Have a great morning. Thank you. We're on the record. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the afternoon session of the ABC Board. My name is Donovan Anderson. I'm chairperson of the board. Join me this afternoon are 4 other board members, Mr. Silas Grant, Ms. Terry Janine Quinn, Mr. David Meadows, and Mr. Ryan Jones. The board has 5 members in attendance this afternoon, and that constitutes a quorum. In looking at the calendar, we have 5 cases on our calendar this afternoon. And so let me start calling the cases that are on our calendar. The first case in our calendar is case number 24-251-00027, barcode, license number 115593. This case was canceled due to the submission and approval of an offer in compromise that was provided to the board. The next case in our calendar is case number 24-ULC-00047, Happy Bud. This is a cease and desist. This case is continued to a date to be determined. The next case in our calendar is case number 24-ULC-00029, The Green Room. This case has been canceled. See board order number 2025-008 and 2025-009. The next case in our calendar, this is out of order, case number 24-PRO-00071, J&D Market, license number 103723. This case has been rescheduled to February 12th at 1:30 p.m. And the final case for this afternoon is a protest hearing, case number 24-PRO-00103, DC Food Market, license number 106962. Good afternoon, Ms. Oriana. Can you please elevate the rights of the parties in this case?
Good afternoon. Emmanuel Empress, your access has been elevated. Investigator Micaiah Nelson, your access has been elevated. And that looks to be all. There are a couple in the attendee waiting area, but I'm not sure if I should elevate.
Why don't you ask if there's anyone in the attendee waiting area who needs to be elevated for this case, and if that's the case, we can elevate that person. So why don't you ask if there's anyone for this case who needs to be identified, who needs to be, yes, please. So Mr. Empress, is your client here, sir?
Yes, sir. Aleem Ephraim is
Okay. All right. I see. Okay, that's fine.
I think that's it, Chairman.
Who's this Keisha? Who's that person?
she's one of our witnesses, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right. Let me have the party. And who's this Alex Metz?
Mr. Metz is also one of our witnesses, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Let me have the party identify themselves. Let's start with you, Mr. Empress. Please spell and state your name for the record.
Yes, sir. My name is Emmanuel Empress, Emanuel. Last name Mpras. I'm representing the DC Food Market.
And who's your client, sir?
Here for the corporation is Aleem Ephraim.
So, Ms. Ephraim, can you please spell and state your name for the record?
Yes, my name is Elam Rose Ephraim, ELIMROSE EPHRAME.
And what's your relationship with the establishment, ma'am?
I'm an officer of the corporation and authorized to represent this corporation.
Okay, fine. This is a protest hearing. This matter was protested by ANC 5C.
No, sir.
I'm
It's
sorry, I apologize. ANC, I apologize. ANC, no, it says ANC 5C.
it's 8A, sir.
Well, I guess someone made a, if you look at the the calendar, it says ANC 5C. So we need to change the calendar because it did say ANC 5C. All right, so hold on. So you're saying it's actually protested by ANC 8 what?
8A.
8A?
Sir.
I'm sorry?
Yes, sir. 8A.
Okay.
I
So
just
the
grabbed the
calendar, yeah, the calendar needs to be changed because our calendar for today says ANC 5C. The ANC is not here. This is a request to change from a retailer B to retailer A liquor store. It was protested by the ANC, but the ANC is not here. So is there anything you want to say, Mr. Empress?
No, sir. I just like to motion for summary judgment in favor of DC Food Market for failure of the protest and to appear.
The council has made a motion. As I stated before, this matter is scheduled for a protest hearing. And I'm sorry, why is it? Have you heard from the protester, Ms. Empress?
No, sir. They haven't responded to any emails or to Abra for whatever reason.
Do you know, did they do a PIP?
They did not.
So you're saying that the protestant didn't do a PIP 7 days prior to the hearing, and you're also saying that they have been unresponsive?
Yes, sir.
And who have they been unresponsive to, sir?
Well, according to the email from Mr. Berman, the Assistant General Counsel of Abra, they've been not responsive to Abra.
Okay. And so you're making so your motion is for us to dismiss the protest?
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that the protest be dismissed. Is there a second?
Mr. Grant, I second the motion.
Mr. Grant has seconded the motion. Let's do a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. What that means is that the ABC board has voted to dismiss the protests. The protestants will issue an order dismissing the protestant. The protestant will have 10 days to provide us reasonable cause. Why is it that they failed to appear today? And also, why is it that they failed to provide a PIP? Once we have received a response from the protestants or a lack of response within the 10-day guideline, if the board believes that if they don't respond, or if the board believes that their reasoning for not being here today is not supported by the law, the board will instruct the agency to move forward to process the application to change the license from a B to an A. Okay? All right. Thank you very much for your appearance today. Everyone have a great day. Thank you.
You too.
You too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Hold on. I want to see if the board has any other, before closing the record, I'm just trying to get some clarification if there's any other public business the board will have today prior to closing the record. I don't want to close the record and then we have some other business, so. Give me a minute, please. All right, having no further business, I'll close the record for the day. As chairperson of the Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis Board for the District of Columbia, in accordance with Title III, Chapter 405, Office of Open Government, excuse me, I move that ABC Board hold a closed meeting on February 5th, 2025, for the purpose of discussing and hearing reports concerning ongoing or planned investigations of alleged criminal or civil misconduct or violations of law or regulations, and seeking legal advice from our legal counsel on the board's investigative agenda, legal agenda, and licensing agenda for February 5th, as published in DC Register on January 31st. Is there a second?
Quinn, I second.
Ms. Quinn has seconded the motion. I will take a roll call vote on the motion before it's now that it has been seconded. Mr. Grant?
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn?
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows?
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones?
Mr. Jones, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree, as it appears that the motion has passed 5-0. I hereby give notice that ABC Board will hold this closed meeting. Pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, notice will also be posted on the ABC Board Hearing Room Bulletin Board, placed on electronic calendar on ABCA's website, and published in DC Register in as timely a manner as practical. The board is now adjourned for the day. I will ask all board members to return to executive session for further action. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.